morning. A little late getting this next video out, but like the weather. I've been kind of in a fog myself. Brain just all over the place, but let's go and try to crack down, concentrate, and get this little hopefully short little video in that on it's a typical thing. It's a simple repair. It's one of those things where people think small screws not holding into place, go to a bigger screw or a longer screw. Well, that's not always the right thing, you know, sort of like a little leak, you know, it's got a little silicone, put more silicone. Well, sometimes you just need to go back, check why it's not holding, why it's leaking, get to the root of it, and maybe just a little proper repair will hold it in place or stop leaking. This is a hold in place situation here, not a leak one, but just the fact that more isn't always better. So I'll get concentrating here, sit down, try to add a little bit of this quick repair that was on the coach for an access panel that didn't need 3-inch screws holding in place. After the 1-inch, 2-inch stop holding it. It's a case of just needed to be held in place better. So I'll get on with it and stop bending your ear here and show you what I did to fix her. All right, we'll get at her. We're waiting for parts for one job we got going on this coach, so we might as well move on to another minor job. If anyone else owns a coach, owns an RV, owns a collector car, even your own personal car, you always know, you always got a list of small jobs that when you got the time, you got to get to them. And that's so while we're waiting for parts for major job we're doing on this one, we'll bang off a small job because it's good to get those things looked after and that, or they just snowball and then you end up having sheets of small jobs, or you'll have a stick-it notes on your toolbox that you no longer see your toolbox for. But alrighty, let's get on to this small job. I'll show you what it is in a minute here. Alright, on our grill here, Beaver Marquee 2001. I hate this one-handed thing people do while they're trying to do YouTube stuff, but I guess that's what you gotta do. Minor repair here is just on the access to the bay heater for where the vacuum pump system or the vacuum flush system is, and that the door assemblies, both bottom and upper, keep like falling off and getting caught in the swing up doors on this unit. So you know, we'll just try to do a quick fix. Everyone thinks, you know, just put in bigger screws, longer screws and that, but then where does it end? You just keep jamming in more and more screws when you can clean it up, you know, threaded inserts put in and then threaded hardware instead of jamming wood screws in, and might solve our situation here and make for a clean fix. All right, let's get going. So here we are again at the access covers for the gray and black tanks down in here. Your vacuum flush system. That's the rheostat and the marquee for the bay heater, which is over there to keep the wet bay warm. And that preset, you can set her at whatever temperature to kick in at. Your Aqua Hot will make sure your bay's looked after here. You see this one's already fallen off, got stuck in the door. This bottom one here just pretty well just yank off here. Let's again, this one-handed repairing we're gonna have to put an end to. We'll have to get some type of stand soon, but I know what somebody's going to say. Well, just jam bigger screws in, and that'll solve your problem. Well, as you can see, it's been done once. These number 10s, number 12s. Well, they only had number 8s in at the beginning. And that, there you go. There's a vacuum pump setup and a marquee. Almost like a marine setup most boats would have. And that motor draws this chamber into a vacuum, and then when you flush the toilet, pulls the vacuum through into your black tank. About a year or two ago, rebuilt that system, the flap valves and check valves in there, and a new motor, I think, if I remember right. All came from a marine supplier, which, excuse me, was able to ship the parts. You just look up your model and that, but again, works good. Why mess with it if it works? But the point is here is just the case of how to make sure you can put your access doors on and not have to keep running longer and longer screws in, which, you know, can cause you other troubles. Put one screw in too long down there, you could be into your vacuum tank and that, which I'm sure we don't need to be doing. It's a whole other mess you'll get yourself into. Alrighty, so we'll figure out how we're going to attack this. I think what we're going to get to is a nut certs epoxied in. Do that, drill it out, nut certs epoxied in, and go to a threaded pan head bolt of some type. And that, instead of keep jamming longer and bigger screws in, doesn't get you any further ahead. Alright guys, as to the repair to the access doors, just securing them better instead of them rattling off and getting caught in the panner, what do you call them, bus style cabinet doors. Starts with a P, big word for just a lift up door, bus style. Anyhow, instead of jamming in even larger screws, which it looks like it's already been done twice, and still rattling free, I've come to, with what I've got kicking around the shop here, thinking this could be a situation. So, we have here, these little devils here, threaded nut certs. That's a heavy duty style. And that usually for inside metal, you know, can go into plate, door, bumper type thing. Crimp it, and then 1/4 inch here, 1/4 inch thread, 1/4 inch 20, I think. And there's the light duty style. There's my here. There to go back. Light duty style, more for in plastics, aluminum, and that. And being, you know, with it being plywood and on an angle or screwed in from the side of the plywood, I think we'll try this light duty thread cert. Put a little bit of mix up some epoxy. Put a little bit of epoxy around them when we go to slide them in, let them dry. So we'll drill the hole for these ones, 25/64, I think, just went down from 3/8. We'll drill into the wood, clean them all up back in the area, and then we'll mix up some epoxy, coat it around the outside of this girl here, and then jam them in and give them a day to set up. And then you end up with, can end up doing it with a truss pan head bolt, or put a washer on a regular machine screw type thing, but go with that style. Through the access door, into the nut certs, secure it that way. Let's, we'll give this an attempt. And yes, I know people are going to say, well, you know, they got furniture style ones, thread certs, thread on the outside, thread on the inside, you could thread into the plywood, you know, for furniture and stuff like that. I'm using what I got kicking around here. I've got lots of these nutserts kicking around. Don't need to order in furniture grade style. I think this is going to work. But yes, if you were buying in that, I think going the route of whatever hole size you would drill for a threaded furniture one would do the same thing. Drill it, thread it in there, maybe a little bit of goop on it as well, a little epoxy or no nails, liquid nails or no nails. Let it cure up and then put your doors on that way. But like I said, this has been an ongoing problem with our coach, you know, with the miles, you know, good Detroit interstates, Michigan interstates, and heading to Norwalk for the races there. Open that side panel and your doors are screws backed out and doors falling off, getting hung up into your access doors. And I think this will work just fine. All right, so I'll go on to drilling out where the screws went through to the size to accept the nutsert, and then we'll mix up some epoxy, set them in, and then give them until tomorrow to cure. And that should be another job off the list, you know, like just even, you know, plug away at small items like that. And it does become overwhelming. If I showed you the list of small, tedious little jobs that come with this coach alone, and that you'd be overwhelmed and just say, yeah, give up on it. And that, but it's like anything, collector cars, old cars, you know, you take it out for evening ice cream run, you come back, there's 5 things in your mind that you notice that, geez, I gotta add to the list. And you can keep adding to the list, and you can end up with a million of these things stuck to your toolbox, you know, or, you know, plug away at them. It's, for us retired guys, got nothing but time, and hey, it's better than sitting watching YouTube videos. Just kidding. All right, let me continue on with what I'm doing. All right, I think you can see the existing holes where you just keep jamming larger and larger wood screws, thinking that's going to solve the job. And if you're not thinking, you go to longer wood screws, and that give you a whole lot of trouble in the future, going into your vacuum tank on your vacuum flush system. Yeah, don't want to go there. You really want to be in patching that thing or working on that thing. It's always a fun job. That's why plumbers make so much. Who wants to deal with other people's shit? But anyhow, I'll point the drill, which I think it was, as I told you, for those nutserts, 23/64s, sorry. And it will be these holes that will get enlarged like that. Now I'm going to put the phone down, shut her, and then I'll get back to when we're going to put the pieces in with the epoxy on them, because I'm not wanting my drill to run through, get away on me, run through into that, or get hung up into the carpeting and stuff like that. I'm going to do it with 2 hands. And if I had the tripod over there, I would have set it up and you can watch. But 2 hands on the drill for this one, or you're going to get yourself in a whole lot of new problems. All right, see you in a bit. All right, they're quickly drilled out. I'm going to get a vacuum and clean up the sawdust mess for now. And be careful when sitting on it. Set up like that, it's plastic. Yeah, you go to slide to the side, you can end up where you don't want to be. And that should bring a sturdier thing to sit on working on a job like this. But just quickly grab that. All right, so like I said, we'll go get the vacuum, clean that up, and then we'll mix up some epoxy for the nutserts. All right, we got the holes drilled out on the plywood for the access panel screws to accept those threaded nutserts, and the epoxy here to go. So we'll mix up this epoxy. We'll take these nutserts out there, and what we'll do is just coat a little bit of the epoxy around the outside of the nutsert, set them into the holes. Won't squeeze them down with the tool. I'll show you that tomorrow. Jeez, almost dropped the phone. Show you that tomorrow. We'll let them cure overnight, and then, like I said, these are the low pressure or not real strong nutserts. You'd use in plastic or something like that. That way it won't blow the plywood apart. So let them cure overnight. Show you the tool that we'll snug them up with a bit tomorrow. And then I'll see what I got for hardware. If I got some truss pan head 1/4 inch 20s. If not, I can more likely have a group like that I could put a flat washer on, which would work just as good. If we don't have, then we might have to order in. That's one bolt that was holding that vacuum pump tank down to the floor. One was missing, and you can see the other one was loose when I was in there, rotted. I'll upgrade that with a luckily a galvanized lag bolt that I will up the size. Just go up a size or two, 1/4 inch lag bolt, 5/16 lag bolt to lightly snug down, hold that vacuum pump tank to the floor in that bay. Going against what I just said there, but to do a nutsert and bolt for that setup, you'd have to pull the whole system out for the shitter just to replace 2 bolts. So right at the moment, all it is, keep the tank from sliding around in that bay, just set 2 new ones in, like I said, galvanized, just a size or 2 up. Alrighty, so catch you in a bit. Alright guys, there we go. The threaded inserts are set in with epoxy, and we will give them till tomorrow to cure, at which time we'll use the threaded insert tool to wedge them in there, snug them up some more, and then we'll take a drill, oversize the holes in the access doors for a 1/4 inch 20 bolt to pass through, or machine screw with a washer, or truss head screw, and maybe heat up a chisel and with a propane torch and jam it into the hole on the door before we do the drilling to melt the rug so it doesn't grab onto the drill bit, and unwind half the door into the drill bit. Guys who've put new carpets in old cars seen that trick where you just find the hole and then heat up a punch, long tapered punch, and push it through the rug into the hole, and it gives you the hole and a cleaned up melted edge around the rug. So till tomorrow guys, take care. Morning again from the island. A little bit of a raining morning here, Cape Breton Island. So dabble at inside here. Well, we can do a couple of quick things. Is what we were doing was doing the access doors in for the gray and black tanks, and where the vacuum flush system works or resides on the marquee coach. And that we showed you there yesterday. We drilled out and glued in the threaded nutserts, which will snug up when it's not raining, but because it is raining, that will clean up the door panels themselves. I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a second. All right, here's a larger door panel for the lower section. Like I said, need one of those sticks. We'll get there one day so we can do this properly. And here's the upper section of that access panel. Back in the day when they like putting rug on everything. And as you can see, where your screws are going into that plywood, you can almost not tell where they went in. And usually snag, pull out carpet with it. If you ever put new carpet in, like a classic car restoration, and same thing, you thought you're doing well, lined up your seats, put a drill in, angle drill in. Think I'll just drill the hole to put the bolt in, and find you wind out 6 feet of your carpet, nice run in your expensive Classic Industries replacement carpet. So the holes are there. I have drilled them out with a step drill so they didn't snag on the drill, up to just size over quarter. So the 1/4-inch bolts will go through. But what we're going to do is show you the process to get this mess from this, where it'll snag onto the screw, to, where is it at here? I cleaned it up here. These holes here on the lower door, which I've already done. Simple process. You've more likely possibly seen it done by other people with car restoration shows, but I'll just try to do it here quickly. How are we going to do this? Again, without a hole, they're hard to, but what you'd need is propane torch, tapered punch in the size hole you're doing, and geez, again, we need to get ourselves a setup here that the phone can be held, because now this is going to be two-handed. So give me a sec, I shut down, mount some things up so I can try to show you what we've done here with one hand. All right, we're back at it. We just threw that access panel in the vise, slapped the propane torch on, now, so we do this one hand. You take your taper punch. I know we'd waste about 15 seconds here. Get it good and hot. You know where your hole is in an area, and that might not have been hot enough. We'll see in a second here. Oh, that did work. Cleaned up, melts it, won't snag, gives you a nice clean. So look at that. That for your bolt going through as compared to your bolt trying to go through that. Again, hit her for another 10-15 seconds. Usually you can tell that you're going to be good by you burn the material off the dining punch from the hole you just did. You just see the goes there, burns off. It's burned off, you know it's going to melt. Again, you know where your hole is, line her up. Spin her in there a couple of times. You don't need to set her on fire. All you're doing is just giving yourself a nice clean hole that's hard work and go through without snagging and ripping out a bunch of carpet. You know, you've took the time to try to make your repair look good. Just for a couple seconds of a quick, again, see, right to that. Just a quick cleanup. So that angled at the punch is angled at that beautiful old station, Hamilton Beach milkshake machine maker that us, over my dresser, 60 over, and 7 that you guys see. Back in the back counter. Diner in the time. Here you are. It's named the best milkshakes ever. I'm sure if you can move your milkshake upside down at the window for you. Yeah, they're bad now, but something about fresh milk, good quality ice cream, a machine like that take you back in time. Just the sound of the machine running will take you back in time. Hey, let me know in the comments. Alrighty, just a quick thing again. Turn the torch off. Again, new at this. Torch, when I went to listen to the video, torch overpowering my voice. We're trying to show you the fact of heating up this punch. Yeah, a little warm there now. Taking it into your rug material and making the holes where they're clean, not snagging your screws, and like I was about to say, it's overdrawn. Hey, a machine like that takes you back in time. Yeah, might even show repairing this girl in an episode or video. I'm not going to say episode. There's some pieces need to be found for it. It has, at our old place, had a couple of trial runs. And again, like I said, the sound of the machine going, that whirring away and grinding at the ice cream and the milk against those tin cans brings you back in time, like I said. You can even remember that sound in your head, and I just mentioned in the comments there. These machines, look at that. And I bet you, figure out the tag on this thing, I bet you it's 50s or 60s this girl was built, and still hums along like nobody's business. You know, why did they stop making things like this? Quality. Who knows? All right, we'll get back at this repair for Yan jerking the camera around again. We'll get that handled in possible future videos as we improve our technique. All right, guys, so like I said, holes cleaned up, ready to go on the coach. Once I snug up those nutserts a bit with the tool, show you that quickly when, again, the rain stops here on the island. All right, talk to you later. Morning, guys. Beautiful one again here on Cape Breton Island. Let's get that sun. We get the sun, but hey, we're on the green side of the lawn again. The way news has gone lately, things that have gone on in the States. Some people haven't had that privilege to just have the simple fact of waking up on the green side of the lawn. Alrighty, we'll finish off this repair here of the covers for the gray and black water, and for the vacuum pump system on this coach. Again, one-handed. Spiders, almost as bad as rodents, the way they get into stuff. Okay, so those nutserts, the glue's cured, or the epoxy actually. I'll get the tool to snug those nutserts up in there. That cable there is somebody retrofitted before us, a Xantrax inverter system. And I guess they found that as the cheater way to run the sensor line back to the batteries for the temp sensor on the Xantrax system. That, again, it's on the list, I know, page 32 more likely, of minor repairs. We all have that going on. But if we get to do them, it's a bonus. Reflection on that nice stainless trim on the beaver marquee. Of course, see, got my Hit Me First shirt on again from using up clothes from a career of heavy equipment mechanic. And that, might as well not let them go to waste. And if you look up when you walk around, you can always find more work. Also, maybe page 29, you see above that Girard awning, everyone has that going on in their lives. The wing cups for your wind sensor to pull your awning in, either one broken or multiple broken. Or years ago I actually did a little repair on that where one of the plastic spoons were broken, and got a little dollar store plastic teaspoon, tablespoon measuring set, found the one that matched and epoxied it on with the other ones. But then a few interstate runs and that, it was functional. It did work for a while, but then the upper bearing going in that sensor and that thing was just flopping around, and the cups, I think, blew off totally. Been researching a repair for that. Maybe we can get onto that in the future. An upgrade, not having just research some things on how we can more likely possibly fix it with just a simple weather station replacement unit, and the voltage range is in the right area. Future job. Hopefully we can get to it. Again, so we'll get the tool that snugs up those nutserts, and snug them up. We got some hardware, found some hardware, and you know those bins of hardware you keep, and one day you go and use it, and was lucky enough to found a group to use. All right, see you in a minute. All right guys, here we go again. Still no holder. Like I said, came across some hardware that I'm going to use. Nice stainless hardware, button head screw, some flat washers. Get a Allen key to set them in. There's those nutserts that I used in there with the epoxy and the plywood. This is the tool to snug them in there a little tighter. So you get your piece. This piece in here is this here and here is the adapter to make it to the 1/4-20. Sets into there, locks in. Just go up to where I've pushed them in, where I've showed you in their epoxied. Snug your bolt in, turn that on the unit, crank it up. It pulls this outer section into this section, wedges it in, then you back it out again, and hopefully it's secured in there as a nice threaded insert in your plywood. Allow you to put these screws in for removing your covers, for doing repairs in there when you need to. Again, I won't be able to show that. I don't have a stand for this phone yet. So, show you this. I'll cut out for now. Get those nutserts snugged in, and then take you back out to the coach to show you the finished product, I guess. All right, so here we go. The end of this last bit of this painful video. Allen keys, hardware we're going to use, the covers, which are going to end up back in their spots. Again, small repair, but you keep up with the small repairs. You don't get so overwhelmed when you're all of a sudden going, oh my God, I got 50 things I got to fix on this thing. So again, I don't have a mount for my phone to set this here to show you throwing that up into place. But hey, it's not rocket surgery. I'll throw it up there, take a last snapshot, and that'll be the end of this painful video. Thanks for putting up for an old guy who's just thought he'd try dabbling at something like this in his fall stage of life, or whatever you want to say, that autumn stage of life, or whatever people say when they know they're, you know, at the point of life where you yeah, I guess autumn, fall, winter's coming, you know what I mean. All right guys, show you it's done. Shot will be when it's done in place, and that'll be the end of this painful, I think this might be second, third video I'll post. All right. Thanks. Alrighty guys, there we go. There we go. All in all, not too bad looking. Will do its job. Cleaned it up. And the bonus is, it's one of those things you can scratch off the minor to do. Repair, you know, the to do. Oh, I gotta repair that too. You know, all that stuff. I don't know. Just make sure. Always make sure your cabinet door is locked in. Nothing worse than going down the road and having people honking and waving at you because one of your bin doors is starting to fly open. Had to do this again. Had a good closing there. Had to do it again. Didn't push that freaking record button. Like I said, new at it. Again, job's done. Get the satisfaction of stroking that off your minor list, taking that little 3M piece of paper off your toolbox, throwing it in the garbage. You got her done. The job should have been maybe an hour, you know, but hey, some of us, you know, the rest of us out there with conditions like we got and your other people and that, don't feel sorry for yourself. Say, I can't do it, sit on the couch and that. If you move around a bit, so it takes you longer. You know what? Another fine guy who, again, that fuck cancer bit again, Toby Keith, you know, not as good as I once was, but I'm as good as I've always been, something like that. Comes and play here. We got it. Hear me breathing in my videos a little harder? Well, you know, repercussions of treatments and that. Yeah, a little harder to breathe at times. But hey, out here, enjoying a day here, putzing. Enjoy that. Another item off. Get to enjoy this, hopefully. Beautiful day. You're on the green side of the lawn. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Do something. I'm trying this. I'm no good at it. You know? Sure, put in the comments, you know. We would like to see more, you know, with your phone held up. Well, I'll get something. Try that for another repair. If I get to doing another. Well, when I do another repair, I'll try that. All right, guys? But, well, you can enjoy like what you like doing. Also enjoy the rest of it too. Your other half, your partner in life, your kids, your grandkids. You know, you've got that time. Some people don't know when the time ends. Some people get snuffed out. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. But, you know, you don't know when your time is. Even when a doctor tells you when your time is, you still don't know when your time is. You can do something, enjoy it. Do something well, do it. Enjoy yourself. Live. Till next time, fuck cancer. Fix coaches.